Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Happy April 14th. I am here with Tom from Time to Transcend, and we are here talking about current energies and current happenings with Tom and I as within our short window of time of meeting, of interviewing on his YouTube, Time to Transcend.com and Time to Transcend at YouTube. We have experienced a lot of interactions and channeling and energy. And so that's what we're here to discuss today. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning in the West Coast and good afternoon in the East Coast.
Yes.
Yeah, there's so much going on. And I think even if you're not connected to things in the way maybe we are or other people are, just the world in general is in this big state of change, and it's a lot for everyone. The thing I'll just start off by saying, and I mean, whenever there's like big changes, there's always a period of a lot of difficult things happen, and I feel like we're moving through that. And so I think the good news out of all this is that when we get through this, we're going to be in a better place, but it is a lot to handle right now. A lot to handle.
Yes. And some kind of sooner than others. I think you mentioned, we were talking right before this, and you mentioned how calm you felt in this moment. And I think for just like us who are more connected with the energy, there is that comfortable state of we can welcome this because we've been through what we had to go through before this moment here, this present energy that's still facilitating a strong message, connection, vibration.
Mm-hmm.
So you mentioned time to take the stage. And I think with a lot of woos, that is a similar message throughout, where our facilitation has become more wanted, needed, and there's more curiosity. It's with the upgrade, people start seeing and noticing things. So I think that is where we all are. Have you experienced that with others?
Yes. Yeah. In a lot of different ways. From just talking about stuff like this or talking about, what I'm doing with mediumship, I still have this part of me in the old self, like maybe I shouldn't talk about it to everybody. And what I've noticed is that virtually everybody, maybe about 10, 15%, kind of like, what are you talking about? But most people are very interested in that. When you're talking about energy work or Reiki or connected to the cosmos, so to speak, everybody's very much interested in it. And it's not a taboo subject anymore to talk about because everything's opening up. And for some, it's in the political realm and some of the things that are being revealed in that area. But that is just the tip of the iceberg. It's much bigger than that. And so what's been covered up for a long time, when I say that, I mean like thousands of years, it's all opening up now. So, that's what's happening. That's what I see happening.
Yeah, they're showing that while you were speaking, they're showing me rocks in front of people and people tripping over for those that are not in alignment, so that they have to start over, so that they have to put the time that's required in to get to where they thought they were before they tripped over the rock. So there's a presented challenge with this opening up.
Yep.
This openness, and then there's that clearing, and the clearing is in the commitment to the process of it's to the commitment of the process of that renew.
It's interesting. What I find was when we're interacting is as I'm talking, I don't know if it's that I'm acting as a connector, but you get information while I'm talking.
Mm-hmm.
And so I find that really, really interesting because sometimes, and this isn't just like recently, sometimes I just like wonder what I'm talking about sometimes. It
Oh,
just comes
cool.
out.
Yeah.
And even, years ago, I would be talking about something and some people would say, well, how did you know about that? I said, well, I don't know. And so, but I think that what it is just tapping in and you're able to take it, maybe look at it a different way. It's like when we do mediumship readings together and we're doing like a double link.
Yes.
The spirit communicator is not giving each of us the same information. They're
Oh,
giving us different information. So I think the same thing is what we're tapping into, um, information coming from our guides or from uh, ascended masters or whoever, angels, that we're both getting the information differently,
mhm.
um, to convey it. And I think the other thing is to convey it to people so it reaches people in their own way.
Right.
Everybody's going to get things in their own way, and and that's another thing with this awakening. It's different for everybody. It's not the same. Um, so I
Mm-hmm.
think sometimes people watch some shows and they're waiting. And I said this on another show. I was like, they're waiting for like, oh,
Oh,
and
yeah.
and it could be that. I mean, in some cases when I
Right.
had my awakening, it was kind of something like that. But for many, it's just like looking at things like, wow, I've been looking at something one way for such a long time, and why was I doing that? Now I'm seeing like through all this haze what the truth really is. And so that might be their awakening, So, um, yeah, just looking at things in a new way.
Yeah. And
So,
I think what another message they gave me while you were speaking is where they transferred the light between, uh, I think it's you and I. There's two entities and they're totally different colors and they're totally different shapes. They're not people. It's like stones, but like runes. And they're transferring the energy back and forth. But because we're not the same energy color, um, I'm like a rock. I look like a gray rock, and you look like a quartz. And the light was transferring back and forth. So it's like teacher to student, student to teacher, teacher to student, student to teacher. And that's kind of what the progression has done for a lot of connected people. Is like we've realized that we have teachers within our students and students within our teachers, and that facilitation has like elevated the connection. So the connection has become a lot clearer for us connected. Holy cow.
you know what? I have to add something to that. I did a Reiki session at the end of the season, end of the fall last year. And this client that came in, I hadn't met them before. I met them briefly, but I didn't know who they were. And well, the message that came through was this person will be a teacher to me. You will teach them, but they will teach you. And that is happening. That has been happening with this individual. And so it's really created a kind of and I think when you said that teacher to student, I think that maybe that's the way you shared that, but I feel like both of us are learning from each other. Like when we met initially, it was just this flow of information back and forth. It's like meeting a long lost friend that for in our case, we're not sure where we originally met, but
We will
but
find.
yeah, we'll figure that out one day. But definitely there's a connection there. So uh,
Yes. And I think, yes, yes. Oh, okay. It's like they're holding hands and then being like, over here, this is where they are. And then, okay, so now we have that. Okay, so goes along with Dan, like the thing I said to Danra the other day. And I said, when I was talking to Kelly, and I said she was past lives at first sight. It was past lives at first sight. Immediately, I knew at some point we were married, or it has to do with like marriage. It has to do with marriage. So yeah, I was just like, how do I move to Vermont and become a sister wife? I hope her husband is nice. You know, it was just, it felt so like, oh, I finally found her and I need to move now. And so it's like, holy moly. So, and that's how the connection felt. It was like, you want to be like, Theo, what's going on? Like, hey, what's happening, family? That's how the connection feels. It's such a remembrance.
I have to just, when I'm, my teacher's energy's kicking in here. So what we're talking about is that when, you come back multiple lives on Earth or other places, and when you're in these lives, you might be in the same relationship with the same soul, but your relationship it might have been mother daughter, and the next time it might be husband wife, it might be brother sister, it might be friend to friend. So that's what we're talking about. So for those that are not a little wondering how this
Right.
is working. And then the other thing was, so as Nina's like listening and getting information, so she's getting information through one of the clairs, and the clairaudient is where you're getting information auditorily in your mind. And so that's how the information's. So a lot of times when mediums and psychics do readings, especially mediums, they will get information, actually hear something or hear a name or hear information, and that's where that's coming from. I like to share that because I think some people wonder like what's going on.
Yeah.
Which
Yes.
leads into another little thing that I always say is that a lot of times people that are considered, having mental issues, it's just unregulated. Like they're getting information, but it's not looked upon by society in the right way.
Yeah.
It's not appreciated, but they're also not able to regulate it. So
Right.
they're hearing things and they're getting stuff, but they're not. I think that's really the difference between what maybe a medium does and somebody who maybe has a mental health illness. That's
Mhm.
how I see it.
Right. I agree. I agree with that. I get approached a lot of the time by homeless people, a lot. And it's always,
Guilty. I mean, the
yeah.
same.
And it seems to be always like, hey, can you help me with this small thing? And I'm like, you don't want bigger help? And it's like, no, I just need hot water. Or can you help me cut something? Or hey, can you give me a snack? But when you the ease and peace, or the grounding I feel around those people is very strong. And I've always felt that. It's like batteries is what I'm seeing, like D batteries, where you pick them up and don't expect that weight in the center. That's the draw down when I'm with these people. Um, and I always want to help. And I think that might be no way.
I
They
was
want
gonna,
me to say a word. They want me to say this phrase, but it sounds so cheesy. It's protection connection.
well, but the other point is that when as a medium is tuning in, a lot of times people use the example that we're like lighthouses to the
Yeah.
spirit world. So, but people that have these that are a little bit, have some mental health issues, so to speak, they also kind of tune into us the same way. So, I mean, one example, and I could probably name 10. I was in a grocery store with a friend. The store was busy. It wasn't like mob, but there were other people there. And out of nowhere, this woman comes running down an aisle and right up to me and starts arguing with me and wanting my help in some way. And you could tell you could just tell she wasn't quite connected to reality, so to speak.
Mhm.
But my friend was like, "Why is she coming to you?" And I just like calmed her down. And I said, I forget exactly what I said to her. And she kind of was like, well, well, okay, thank you. And if it just calmed her down, then maybe that's what I was supposed to do.
Right.
It happens on the street. People will, like I'm with other people and they don't stop anybody but me.
Mhm.
And naturally, people would make jokes. I said, well, now, we always thought you were a little bit off.
You're special.
And but it's also being open too. We're open. And
Right.
people and when you're open, you're in creative energy, you're able to compose music, you're able to paint, write, or connect. You're just connecting.
Sense humanity in some
Yeah,
way.
exactly.
And
Yeah.
yeah, it's the empathy part I think they see, and they know that they're seen as someone to,
Mhm.
like, a lot of people ignore them throughout the day. So you can imagine what it must feel like to be seen and then helped and then just talk to like normal. And that's my favorite thing is when they come and they're like, disheveled, and like people are just like, oh, what are you doing? And I'm like, it's still a fucking person. Sorry, I speak French. And that matters to me. And that's one of the biggest things because I remember not being considered or felt like I was considered a human. So that for that purpose, I won't treat people like that. I won't even allow them to walk in that. I'm like, I just pulled over the other day at a Taco Bell trying to help this couple because he's pushing her 20 feet, then grabbing his cart, moving it ahead 20 feet of her, and then going back to her and pushing her in the wheelchair. And I'm like, no way, all day, all day. Let me give them a ride. And she was like, we're actually at our destination right now. And I'm like, oh man, dang it. If there was another way I could help you. And I'm in the drive-through at Starbucks looking to the right and seeing this. And I'm like, I'm pathetic. And that's what like draws me out of that. I'm like, get across the street and help. So I think there is a lot of that those people see in us in a natural essence as what would be our natural response is to always help. It doesn't matter who it is. It's help the situation. It doesn't matter who's there. I think that's
I'm sitting here playing with these cards, and as you were talking, I
yes.
pulled a card and I pulled a transformation card.
Lucky 13.
Oh, I'm so glad because sometimes I put these cards up on my phone and the writing's backwards.
Transformation.
Yeah. Transformation. So I think it's similar to the
upgrade I saw for you. How they
oh,
should.
oh no, the tarot, the one of the cards in tarot, and I can't think of it right now, but
I mentioned that the other day of your upgrade, how they showed me you in kindergarten class, but like it in present. I mentioned it on my Instagram video because that was a message for everyone. It's like there's an elevation here. Whether you like it or not, there's an elevation. And I was like, what they showed me the other day is my friend Tom, how he is right now in kindergarten class. Like he's going to the next start at the beginning, and then that's going to become his new information and upgrade. So that transformation also came through for me, for you.
you mean that like I had gone to like quote unquote graduate school at one level, and now I'm going into, yeah. So it's interesting. When I had my awakening, when I would close my eyes, and this was over like a 2-3 day period, it was like I was going up an elevator in my mind, and I would open up my eyes up in my mind, and I would see like something, a scene or something, and then it would stop, and then it would go up to another level. So I always felt like this going up levels. Yeah, so that makes sense. And I think it's also like just thinking back in school and going back to my teacher thing is, when the kids in most schools, when you're in 8th grade, the next year you go to high school. So the 8th graders think, oh, they're big, big man, big woman on campus. And then they go to high school and they're like, womp, womp.
Yeah.
And, so it's so I guess the other thing too is that we're, being a lifelong learner. I hate these cliche, like you were saying, some of these terms are like, oh my God, these terms are so cliche, but it is true. Like you are, if you're not learning, I mean, you're kind of like it's like your body is when you leave the earth,
Mhm.
not your soul, because your soul continues. But when you're not learning, you're like basically almost like in a coma, I think.
Right. Your information plateaus. And then what are we going to talk about? The same thing we spoke about last week? I don't think so. That's boring. I just posted something today about The Brightest Star in the Sky by Neil deGrasse. He did a little post and I reposted it and I said, learn something new. Enjoy this information. The Polaris is not the brightest star in the sky. The North Star is not the brightest star in the sky. It's the 49th, actually. So, I learned something new today, or that roses vibrate at one of the highest frequencies out of all the flowers. As soon as I learned that, I called my kids. I text my family and I was like, learn something new. It's like, I don't know these things. And I feel that's I'm a spiritual student. I'm an eternal student. I'm a world student, life student. And I don't want to ever stop learning these things that have been laid out for me to experience. I tell my kids, this United States is a house. Get out of the house and go see stuff. Don't stay in your house. Go to somebody else's house and learn how they are. You might like it. And so my son, my eldest, just got back from Japan, a 2.5 week trip. And my my youngest is going to Hawaii next week to go see that culture. And I'm grateful, and I want to push them to expand themselves, and I wish that upon everyone.
And one of the things I tell anybody who's getting they're getting close to 18, if you don't have a passport, get a passport, because it's $100 and some dollars. And you never know when you're going to be like, some friend might say, hey, I won some tickets to go to Ireland, or I got tickets to go to some place. And you're like, oh man, because that happened to me 30 years ago, actually 29 years ago. Was with somebody, he won a trip to Ireland, and we had to expedite our passports. It would cost like $400 because we didn't. So I'm like, it's not like it's $1,000, and it's not like you just literally go to the post office and
Right.
do it. It's not complicated. So, birth certificate, all that. So, the other thing, I was going back to what you were saying. I was going back to prior to my awakening, I was busy doing my job, but I was also in my free time. I was kind of my way to relax was to drink. So not that I went to work drunk or anything, but in the downtime, that's what I did. And I can remember like watching some movies over and over and over again. And it was almost like a mind numb thing, because I didn't know what to do. And now when I'm around certain people, they're like, hey, do you want to come over and watch that movie? And like some of these movies I watched hundreds of times, and I have no desire. And I feel bad about it, because there is part of me that I do miss some of that, like some of those things I used to do, but it doesn't resonate. My day goes so fast now. I don't have time to do that anymore. I kind of want to always be in a learning process.
Yes. It's in between the calms. Are you looking at the clock? In between the breaks, are you looking at the clock still? Don't forget to give yourself pause in between this.
Well, that's another thing too, is,
Yeah.
when you're in with this, like I have to literally say, I do need downtime,
Yeah.
because
There's
yeah, like you do do a couple readings, and then you do a Reiki session, and it's like, that's enough.
Yeah.
A lot. And I remember last year I did 4 Reiki sessions in one day, and each session also had a little reading attached to it.
Oh
I just, luckily I didn't have anything the next day, and I said, no, that's too many. It's not healthy to do that many, because it isn't. It's exhilarating in some ways, but it's also tiring too.
Yeah.
And making sure you ground, and all that is important, which I need reminded of. I do. I
Yeah.
just had my friends say to me, we're getting a clear message, Tom. You need to ground more. Go ground. So I
Oh, okay, cool.
outside, I walked barefoot on the grass. I came back in.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Because that is, yeah, that's what they showed me, is your feet on the floor of like a campground area. Um, Let go of control, the hanged one asks, and open yourself up to something new. It's not time for action or forcing. You instead take a step back and give yourself some time and space. Through inaction and observation, the answers you seek will make themselves clear to you. Give things time and be open to an unexpected perspective. There's some surrendering needing gonna come up for you. Meditation. Oh, so just like you said, grounding. Yeah, plug back in. Okay. Cool. The hanged one. Yeah, and then he's like looking at the moon, Ollie Thurl. Like, get down there, get inside. Get down there, get inside and relax. Okay. So one thing I do want to ask you about is the light language. In some cases, to me, light language serves kind of like tarot, kind of like a pendulum, where I feel like I would still be able to get the information, but just in a different way, if that makes sense. Almost like the humming. Oh, you. Oh, yeah. They wanted me. That's why. They wanted me to talk about your light language. And I think Gerald mentioned it was like a beatbox, is what he said in the message that popped up. But then I later on said like a Buddhist. It's gonna be rhythmic, like a beatbox, like that, but it's gonna be something you can't really, yeah, it's gonna be like that. There's gonna be a tone to it. And it's gonna go like that. And that's like so healing. That's gonna be like a chakra opener. Like you'll take that is there within what you're reverberating and place it.
That's interesting because when I had the awakening, one of the things that happened was I was like vocalizing through my throat, so to speak. I was like, and I wasn't sure why I was doing that, but now I mean, later on, I realized that I wasn't speaking my truth. I was always trying to be careful what I said, people pleaser and all that. And so that was like breaking free of it. But now what you said about like, which I feel like I have, but I feel like now, in fact, this morning when I was doing the channeling, I incorporated some of chanting into that. And the messages for me when I'm in it come really fast. My speech is really fast. And it has been like a rhythmic thing where it is just coming. It isn't like I'm talking like this. It's more like, and then we went there. It's like that fast. So
Yeah.
I can see like with the light language, it would come that fast as well. So, and people have always said to me, can you slow down? You're going too fast. Like if I'm giving directions, even when I was working, I was like giving directions and like, I was like, could you say that again? And then a lot of times when I'm writing, when I used to write, I'd go back and read it and I'd skipped words because I was already ahead of what I was writing.
Yeah, right.
I'm like, I was like on another speed.
Yeah.
Like I'm on like 45 and the world's on 33.
Right. No, and they were making me like rock back and forth. There's a lot of energy coming through, and it's like it needs to facilitate within the body. I'm like, oh shit, are you rocking when this is happening? Because my body's really needing to like move the information in and through. And it's just going to be one of those, it really feels like one of those things that comes up the spine with chills, and then you can't help but just like, oh, like just like let it out, but it feels like that rhythmic pattern. And that's going to, it's almost like a builder for you if you want to use it like that. Because okay, yes, okay, thank you. So Summer, when she was facilitating my awakening, she was moving the energy up, and so she needed a lot. In the video, she has to like gather a lot of her energy and then facilitate it to me. So in that manner, I think you'll be able to do that for people, because that's where we suffer. Wherever we suffer from the most, of course, we can service the most because we have that experience. So they're I think giving you that gift to grow it here as well and utilize it within your Reiki, that you have that light language to be able to bring in that way. It's almost like a whisper, even if you want to tell them like I'm just going to do a little chant whisper and then facilitate it to them.
And the body, or your spiritual self, as well as your mental and all that, it's all connected. So when people suffer illnesses, it's because of something they're not doing. And I'm looking back, and I had as a young older child, and then to my teenage years and even older, every single year I would have strep throat. I had all this problem, and I didn't get my tonsils out till I was 30 years old. Mainly because of the way things were. I missed the people older than me got them ripped out right away, but I did it. But I suffered so much with that. And then the other thing was, as a musician, I was a trombonist. And one of the things I struggled with was opening my throat so I could project the instrument better.
Right.
And so it's all connected. So when I had my awakening, it was like it just broke open. It was like, boom. So now it's like almost I'm learning how to work with it more, so to speak.
Yes. Holy cow.
And I haven't played the trombone in years, but I've thought about what if I could. And the other thing too, which is related to that, which I brought up, I think, in another discussion we had, was I never was a good improviser. I would always just read the music.
Mm-hmm.
I had a hard time improvising because my mind was so boxed in. And now I feel like I could easily improvise, and I could easily, my breathing and all that would just take me to, I was a pretty good musician. And I mean, I was good, but I mean, I feel like I could have gone to, I feel like now I could go to another level. And in some ways I'm not using the instrument. I'm using myself as the instrument. So.
Exactly. Yeah. In same case. I mean, I would do that. I love that movie Soul. I mean, it's a cartoon, but I love it. Have you seen it?
No.
You should watch it. It's a movie called Soul. It's more for adults, though. He's a musician, and he kind of shares the spiritual essence that artists go to when they get in the zone.
Oh, I have to watch that.
Yeah, he starts playing the music, and then they isolate the image, put him in the dark, and then he's just in a spotlight in his own world. I highly recommend.
That's it. Like when you're working on music, and you worked on it for a while, or it could just be spontaneous, but either way, when you finally get it, when you finally like feel it, it's like it's a connection. And when I was teaching music, not every day, but almost every day, there would be a moment of that experience in what I was doing. So I was able to get that myself. And I missed that after I didn't teach. I was doing other work, so I missed that. Are you having technical difficulties?
I'm here.
We
I'm
can't
here.
see you. Are you there? Are you there in spirit? I'm just kidding.
My Wi-Fi just went out. I just restarted.
Oh, okay.
Jeez Louise. Can you hear me now? I love it. I love it. I love it even more that we were able to, that it just came back on. Yes. Holy
I'm letting
moly.
a couple people, they thought that we were on live, and so I was just letting them know that we weren't on live. So
Oh, yeah. Gotcha.
um, but
Maybe I
yeah,
should transfer.
so
You know what? I'm going to transfer over. Give me 1 second.
are you bilocating?
Huh?
Are you bilocating?
Yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna leave that there. Hold on. Let's remove from stage. There you go. There's just you and I. All right. Well, that was fun. That was so funny. I laughed so hard. I was like, this is hilarious. You guys settle down. But I did tell you that before we got started, they were all in my ear. Like, he's here, go. And then you sent me that message. So it really makes sense. So this throat message, I'm really glad that it came through clearly, and with that chanting that is, oh, there's a native there's throat singing.
Yeah, I can actually imitate it because I used to try to practice it.
Oh,
It's like
yes,
now I'm
it's
not gonna be
very
able to
gun.
now I'm not going to be able to do it. I can't do it. I have to practice it. I did do it a little bit. Um,
Yeah.
because we actually could do it on trombone. You sing with your throat while you're playing the trombone, and you can actually get two tones or three tones, I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what I learned. I learned that, but I guess I can't do that right away. We lost you, Nina.
Gotcha. No,
Where are
I'm still
you?
here. Um, There I am. So throat. Okay, so I'm going to put a line there because I'm gonna do some chanting today. I have some hape that I purchased at Mexican New Year in San Jose, and I haven't purchased a new hape or rape, RAPE, with a little asterisk on top, and then hape. But it basically just quiets my mind. And lately, I've been feeling the presence of Isis. She's always been around, but I haven't really. She stepped in before, but I haven't presented to her. So she's kind of just like sitting, waiting. Um, So I'm interested if you could maybe see anything that has to do with that and that connection.
I'm seeing like you sitting there, but I'm seeing like a female energy behind you, um, almost dancing around you, so to speak. Not literally
Okay.
dancing, but like no, she just said, yeah, dancing. It's like a celebration, like it's like the divine feminine coming in even stronger, or being escorted into to your space, um, elevating you
Keep-
to that to that space, bringing forth that energy to others, um, and transferring it to other people and making other people connect because it's already within them and it needs to be awakened, and that energy needs to and they're also saying it's not just about being a woman. It's like there's masculine and feminine in both of us, and everyone, and that it's awakening feminine side in the male. um and it's also not about one being better than the other. It's that there's been a domination of one for so long that there needs to be a balancing coming forth. And so we're seeing a movement. It's just the way the energy is moving, and the divine feminine is in, and it's moving in, and it will balance this energy. um and that yeah, you're transmitting that to everyone, and bringing that forth. And and she's saying like she's an example of one. It's not, that energy of that Isis person, of known as Isis, is known in different ways in different cultures. It's just how it presents itself, if that makes sense.
It does. Everything that you said was exactly what I got. I think that was like a week or two ago, and I was like, without the feminine, you can't get the masculine appropriately. Like you have to embrace the full feminine to embody the masculine, and you with one without the other. But through the femininity, you can find your true masculinity. Not I'm buff, I'm tall, blah blah blah. No, it's I can be I can be masculine about things without having to overtake anything or push anything down or ruin anything. There's a masculinity and a presence of authority and grace and embodiment and empathy. And so I think that's what where I think and that is exactly what I got prior to this is
It's pushing out the toxic masculinity, and
yeah.
it's bringing in the divine. So, and when we look at, I'm not just for a lot of men, they can't express their feelings. And what happens? Their lives are shorter. They have heart problems. They have health problems, and
Mhm.
it's not healthy. So you have to be able to express that. So for that is that's like that's like an example of what
Yes.
being more in tune with it. It doesn't mean, and I'm not talking about anything else than what I'm not talking about sexuality or anything. I'm just talking about being
Mhm.
able to feel more. And so, and but we've been so out of balance for so long, and we need and going, you brought up Mexican and indigenous stuff earlier. Many indigenous cultures are maternal based. The
Mhm. Yes.
maternal
There's a
is,
colonized, they call it, we have the colonized belief of masculinity, whereas the indigenous carried that, yeah, the
yeah,
grace,
it's the
everything
spirit
that
of,
we were talking about.
yep. And so, and also, when you think about divine feminine, you think of the females, the creative energy, the birth energy, the um you know just this concept of a mother, you know, whether you have children or not, you still have, it's that energy, and that feminine energy can be present in a male too. But in many cases, in the
Mhm.
overall, it's just not been, it's just been suppressed for so long. Um,
Right.
because it's always thought you have to be, the only way to be a leader is to be forceful and this and that. We don't need people who can feel anything. We just need people making decisions. Well, that's absent
Right.
of feeling is not really what's supposed to happen. You got to be able to.
And we can show the president of Mexico. That's a perfect example. I mean, she's saying her feelings, she's offering help, she's standing her ground. She is like, if there was a Libra, I wonder if she's a Libra. If there was a Libra of masculinity and femininity, I think she's carrying herself in that manner, holding that position and still maintaining that type of grace and empathy and understanding and just like physical presence there without I don't think I've ever seen her not look like into it, like I am in this conversation. You can't throw rocks at me and expect me not to move my head.
No, and
That's
I was just thinking, I had a good friend of mine who was like a second mom, and she told this story. This would have been in the late '60s, and her classroom, there was riots, in the neighborhoods, and they came into the classroom and they wanted to get the kids, and she put her hands up on the doorway, and they had guns. She says, "You ain't coming in here."
yeah,
And when I
it's
heard her
different.
tell that story, I was like, it's also like, even in the animal world, like if you, oh, that little bear cub's so nice, and then people go or not don't realize, and mama's over there, like that's not.
Right,
So when people say, well, it really bothers me when people will say, we need the female or women, feel too much. That is so crazy, because when anybody thinks about their family and they think about who is running the family, who is it? It's grandma,
right.
it's mom, it's the energy. That's where it is. And so we we need to honor that. I mean, and
Right.
yeah. So we're gone all over
Yeah.
the place today, but I mean, I just, you brought up ISIS, and that's
No,
kind of
it's fine.
too.
No, this goes with exactly what where we're going. Wherever we're going. So we might as well just go. This is exactly what I wanted to touch up on this context because the divine feminine in a lot of my woo woo groups is one of the hardest things to like draw out of these woo woo women. We don't come from delicate upbringings, and it's so we're not a bed of roses. We were definitely weeds with flowers, and I think we really are bringing that femininity into its new presence, and that needed to be brought here. That this stuff needed to be done because there was so much suppression and violence, and it's been too long. So now we start the journey of the opposite, and I think that's a part of the work we're here to do amongst the you know self work that we have to do and all the energy processing. So you mentioned Reiki, and your services. Are you going to be expanding at all in years to come, do you think, on the gifts that you currently have? Or do you think you'll move past the gifts you have and kind of concentrate on growing further? Or do you think they all kind of intertwine?
I think they all intertwine, and I think if I could put everything into one thing, it's about healing. So it's about healing. So I feel like, the one thing that I'm moving into is trance healing, along with trance mediumship. So that's one aspect of it. Another thing that I'm working on, and I'm actually going to put it on my website soon, is Akashic Records, reading Akashic Records.
Mhm.
So that's
I
another thing
love
that
that.
I'm doing. Um, and and also I had somebody reach out to me about animal communication, which I've done, and it's happened in just mediumship reading. So it's just
Right.
kind of like amazing. Yeah, and all this comes down to is healing, and it's all happening at the speed that I can handle. Although if it's been fast, and I just feel like I'm just welcoming it. Um, but yeah, I'm very grateful for where I'm at. So I do Reiki sessions in person and online. I do mediumship and psychic readings online and in person. And I'm going to be adding these other things going forward. So I'm excited.
I'm
I do
excited
really,
for you.
yeah, I do really enjoy the mediumship. I enjoy all of it, really. Like I enjoy doing. A lot of people will get a Reiki session and then a reading, and so it's interesting how it all kind of connects. Um, and it's interesting because the people that when you're doing a reading, some people want to have certain person come in, and that's not necessarily who comes in. Usually, it's related to something that you need a message. Why are they coming in? They're not just coming in to say, "Hey, how's it going?" They're coming in to say, this is where you may need help with, or, you're doing this well, or that kind of thing. And so it's connected to what happens in the Reiki session. So
Okay.
it's all
Intertwined.
connected.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So yeah, I'm real excited about that. And then
That's what makes
also,
it easy for you. I love
pardon,
that. It
I
seems
didn't,
like that's what makes it so easy for you to facilitate the gifts, is because you're such in a relaxed state of spiritualism and learning. I think, like you said, there's an eternal student right now. There's a spiritual student, an internal, eternal student as well. And I think seeing it for you, like with the chanting and feeling it, like with the healing, I'm like,
mhm,
what else? Do you see anything? And so, like, hearing, writing this down. Reiki, online, in person, trance healing, Akashic. Oh, do you want to explain trance healing and Akashic records really quick for those who don't kind of know? Because if you were to go mediumship or psychic, I would go like, can you just go to my records? You know, that's just me. I like to skip spots. I was like, would you be able to do a healing and an Akashic record for me? To me, that would be a great duo.
mhm.
But
Um,
can you explain the trans healing and Akashic record in your perspective, what you feel you'd be sharing with somebody who doesn't know?
well, Akashic records is not like a physical library. It is a energetic library of everything that's happened and it's going to happen in the whole universe. Um, and so when you're tapping into that, you're looking at like your life plan that you agreed to come to Earth to do, and you're tapping into that. Now, you still have free will. You're still able to kind of make choices, but there is an overall plan. People will say it's not my time to go, and they kind of say that jokingly, but if somebody's really old, it must not be my time. Well, maybe it isn't because they haven't finished what they're supposed to do. For whatever reason. Maybe free will took them off track, but you're tapping into that to see, some people will come in and they're like maybe making a job transition and they wonder what the next thing is, and you can tap into that. But also again, it's like mediumship. If I request that information, I may not get that information because the person's not ready it's not for them to hear yet. The information, I really feel that. Like there is some discernment made by the reader, but also the information that's coming in is usually meant for the person. So yeah, I hope that makes sense.
It
So,
does. It does.
and then the trance healing. So mediumship, most people when they get a mediumship reading, they're in mental mediumship, which is the reader is getting information visually, auditorily, feeling wise, knowing things, and then sharing that with the sitter. with the client. And then there's physical mediumship, which is actually moving objects, which that's very uncommon, but it does exist. And then the third one is trance mediumship. So in trance mediumship or in trance healing, you're letting spirit or guide come into your etheric field and speak through you or heal through you. So it's similar to Reiki in that Reiki, you're a conduit for the energy, the life force, but with trance work, you're actually a conduit for a healer from the spirit world to come in and do the healing. So it's really not that, if you think about a lot of times in a lot of religious practices, the person who is the facilitator, whoever that might be, in whatever, group you're in or denomination or whatever you're in, they are actually acting as an intermediary. So it's the same thing. I mean, I like to always connect things across different areas and not just say, so, I don't want to call out any certain tradition, but people can relate to that in some ways. So, so calling forth help, Reiki session, a lot of times, sense people will come in to help. Ascended masters will come in, or angels, angelic beings, galactic beings, will come in. So
Next time we're going to go galactic on our conversation. Yeah.
and I
Holy
definitely,
moly.
yeah, definitely. Are you still there? Because I see a black dot.
Oh yeah, I'm still here.
Because I can't see you.
Oh, okay. I can still see you. That's so weird. I still see ya. I'm like, I'm still here. I promise. So here, let me turn this way. How about now?
There you go.
Am I here?
You're there.
There you go. Now you don't see me. I just made myself disappear on accident. So we're gonna wrap this up. I want to thank you so much for your time, and I did make a note to go galactic on our next conversation, because that is super important for us for some reason, to my team for next time. They're still doing this, so not today. But there's been so much interaction and with Galactic, so it makes sense that they want us to talk about it. I believe there might be some channeling coming in for that. We might feel it a little bit differently. It'll feel like buzzing to us. Zzz, zzz, like that to us. Like if you're gonna go touch a plug, like that, it'll feel like that. You'll get the essence of it. But thank you so much for your time, friend. I'm sorry, the guides are like, don't forget to tell him. Don't forget to say this, say this. Thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate you. And I'm excited to be able to share your growth and to experience it and to continue our channeling and connection. So thank you very much.
That was wonderful, Nina. Thank you.
And you can find Tom on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook. Am I missing any other platforms?
No, but you can just go to my website, which is timetotranscend.com, not the number 2, the TO, transcend, timetotranscend.com. And you scroll at the bottom, all the links for the social media are there. And I'm as of right in shortly period of time, I'll be at 7,000 subscribers, which is, I can't even believe it.
Congratulations. All right, everyone, have a good